In this video, we're going to look at adding or subtracting a negative number from a directed number. And we're going to use the same counter model as before. So a coloured counter represents -1, and a white counter represents +1. If we put those two together, it's actually a 0. And having this idea of 0 helps us model some of these problems. Let's look at some examples. Here in this first one, we're doing addition of a negative number, so -2 plus -4. Alright, so we start in our calculation area with 2 negative. So I use 2 negative counters. And I have to add to this area 4 negative counters. So I need to put 4 more in. So there's my 4 new counters. Now if I look at those, I can see that's my answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 negative counters, so that's equal to -6. Now I can also do this problem on a number line. So let's have a look how it works on a number line. I can draw my number line like this, and I'll start with -2 because that's our first number. Now we're going to add. Now when I add, I'm going to face this way. But I've got to add -4. So in effect, although I'm facing in the positive direction, I'm going to walk backwards 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. Let's see where we end up. Now 0's over here. So we're getting further away from 0, so that's -3, -4, -5, -6. So using the number line, we can see we get -6. In my second example, we have 3 plus -6. So I need 3 positive counters in my calculation space to start off with. Here they are. Now I need to add to this space 6 negative counters. So as I add these counters, there's 1, 6. Now if I see a yellow and a white counter together, it becomes a 0 pair, and we can take them out. So I'm just going to cross them out. So that is a 0 pair, that's a 0 pair, and that's a 0 pair. And so what I'm left with is 1, 2, 3 negative counters. Now I could do this problem with a number line. So I draw my number line, and I put in the number 3. There it is. And I put 0 over here. So I start at 3 and I add. So when I add, I'm going to face the positive direction. But I'm adding -6. So I have to walk backwards 6 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So where do I end up? Well, that's 2, 1, 0, -1, -2, -3. So I get the same answer, -3. In my third example, I've got -1 plus -3. So I have to put in and start with one of my negative counters. There we are. And I have to add into this area -3. Not always do they have brackets around it, it's just the same thing. So I need to put 3 more negative counters into my zone because I'm adding. And so my answer is 1, 2, 3, 4 negative counters. Now this works on a number line as well. So we'll draw our number line, put our -1 on it, -1 there, 0's there, and I start at -1, and I'm adding, so I face the positive direction. But I have to walk backwards 3 steps, 1, 2, 3. So we're at -2, -3, -4. So we get the same answer. In this example, the fourth example, we start with 4 and we add -6. Now, I'm going to show you what happens if I don't have these counters. Well, I can draw them in my book. So I need 4 positive counters in my area, so I'm going to just use circles. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I need to add 6 negative counters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now a 0 pair we can get rid of. We can cross them out, or if they're in our book we just cross them out. Another 0 pair, another 0 pair, another 0 pair. So you can see we're left with 1, 2, -2 counters. Now once again we can do this on the number line. And we start at 4. And 0 is back this way. Put it back here. And we're adding, so we start at 4 and we face the positive direction. But we have to walk backwards, because of this little minus sign, 6 places. So we're going 4 places to get to there. And we've got another 2 places to go. And so that puts us at -2. Okay, so we're going to do some examples now for subtracting. So here we start at -2. We're taking away from our calculation area -4. So I'm going to use my colouring in method like before. So I'm going to put in my calculation area 2 negative counters. There they are. Now I've got to take out of that area -4 counters, but I've only got 2 negative counters there. So I need to put some zeros in to get enough counters to take out of my zone. So here's 1 0, here's another 0, and now I've got enough counters to take out of my zone. You can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4 negative counters. Now I'm going to cross them out. They're taken out, taken out, taken out. Remember, we're taking these out because this is a takeaway, a subtraction. And that leaves us with 2 positive counters. So the answer to this problem is 2. Well, let's see how it works on the number line. So we draw our number line like before, and we start with our first number, -2. So there's -2, there's 0. It's a bit hilly, my number line, but never mind. Okay, this time I'm subtracting. So I'm actually facing the negative direction because we're taking away. However, I've got to walk backwards because of this minus sign 4 units. So I'm walking backwards 4 units. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see where we've ended up. So -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. So I can get the same answer 2 using a number line. In my second example, I start at 3 and I take away from my calculation area -6. Once again, I'm just going to use my sketch method and put 3 positives in. Now I have to take away from this 6 negatives, but I have no negatives at all to take away from my area. So I need to add 0 pairs until I get 6 negative counters. And you can see them, I've got 3 there already, 4, 5, 6. Now I have enough negative counters to take out of the calculation zone. So take them out, 4, 5, 6, and we can see that I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, positive 9 counters, and that's the answer. Now I can check this with another model using a number line. Here's my number line, and I have to start at the number 3. So there's 3, here's 0. Anyway, so I start at 3, and I'm taking away. So I face the negative direction. Imagine standing there and facing that negative direction. But I have to walk backwards because of this minus sign, this other minus sign, 6 places. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've gone 6 places. You can see that's 6 all the way across. So if I start at 3 and go 6 that way, I'm going to end up at 9. In my next example, Notice I don't always have the brackets around the last number. I'm at -1 and I'm taking away -3. So I need a -1 counter. Here it is. I'm using the drawing method now. But I have to take away 3 negative counters and I only got 1. So I need to put in some 0 pairs until, there we go, I've got enough now. And now I can take away from my calculation area, because this is subtraction, my 3 negative counters. There we go. And we're left with 1, 2 positive counters. We can see how this works on the number line as well. Here's our number line. Here we are at -1. So 0's here. And we're subtracting. Subtracting tells me to stand at -1, but face that negative direction. The next number is -3. That means that negative tells me to walk backwards 3 units. So 1, 2, 3. So we can see we've ended up at 0, 1, 2. So that confirms our answer. For my last example, here we start with 4 and we're subtracting -6. So we're going to start with our 4 positive counters, 1, 2, 3, 4. But I've got to take away from my area 6 negative counters. Haven't got any. So I need to add some 0 pairs until I get 6 coloured in counters. 4, 5, 6. Now I can remove, because I'm subtracting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 negative counters, leaving me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So let's check out what happens on the number line. So we draw our number line. This time we start at 4 and we face the negative direction because we are subtracting. So I stand there and face that way, so looking back towards 0 over there. But I walk backwards because this next number is a negative, so I walk backwards 6 places. I'm going to jump the whole way. So I'm going to 6 places that way. 4 plus 6 gives us 10. Okay, now there are shortcuts that you will discover as you practice these, and there's some strategies you can use when the numbers get bigger, where it's too hard to draw all these circles.